If you're ready to get more value in your manufacturing operation, you should check out Flow Analytics. Flow is going to help you connect all of your operational and your enterprise data sources. That means everything from your real-time to your process historians, your quality management systems, your production databases, all things that are typically siloed. Flow is going to help you get information from, bring that information, not just the values of the data, but bring the structure from those databases into Flow as well. That means once it's in Flow, we're able to start combining it, applying your business rules, filtering, cleansing data, adding event and calendar context, all before we start processing our calculations and our aggregated KPIs. Once there's new information in Flow, you can apply a common information model or a reporting abstraction layer to that data before you feed it to all of your people and all of your systems. We like to say that if Flow knows about it, you know about it. So that begs the question, practically, what can I really do with Flow? Well, data just by itself without context, it's really just points floating around in space. But when we start to add a little bit of context, something we might inherit at the edge from, say, our real-time gateway, we can start to understand more about that data. We might be able to pick up engineering units. Using the tag name, we will understand a bit more, but it's still not fully contextualized information. It's just data at this point. Well, Flow gives us the ability to link over to not just a real-time gateway and have the now or the current state, but also to process historians. So for time series data, the process historian is our number one source of information. And when we connect to the process historians, of course, we get backfill of history, and we also pick up the concept of what was happening at what point in time. We like to be able to take the model that the historians or the real-time gateways are using and abstract those, as I mentioned prior, in a common information model. This lets us take those tag names that are difficult to understand outside of that specific operation and present a bit more of a common or universal naming structure. In this case, it looks like we're using power usage and total production in bottles. Now, if I'm not historizing a real-time data point, Flow can take care of that for me. We have a configuration in Flow that allows you to store the raw data from a real-time data source for a short configurable time. This is great because we'll hold that data local in Flow so that we can then later on do some analytics with that raw data. But as we all know, raw data is messy. If we look at our power usage trend, we can see that we obviously have a spike, an outlier. Within Flow, I get to define how we handle data that sits outside of our desired ranges. Now, this can be based on bands, it can be based on slope, it could be based on a standard deviation of a population. What's important to understand is that before Flow starts doing any type of KPI calculation, we use the Flow Calc engine to give you the ability to control how data is cleansed. So when the Flow Calc engine runs prior to doing a calculation for a KPI, it is actually cleansing the data and applying the business rules as we've determined. In this case, we've chose to scrub the data and just provide a null value when it was outside of our band. Now that we have data ready to work with, we apply time intervals. It could be days, weeks, years, minutes, in this case hours. And we use the Flow calculation engine to run some aggregated values across each hour. So we pick up two new data points, an hourly energy usage in kilowatt hours and an hourly production again in bottles. Notice on my historian that as I look across some of the hours, I've got on my totalizer, on the total production, I've got some areas that we had no growth. Well, what happened there? Flow's able to pick up information about what is the process that we were in this state of time. And it can do this from reading tags in the PLC directly, maybe by our OPC UA connection. It might be a calculation that you tell Flow or that you express inside of Flow. It could be information from a transactional database. But in this instance, we understand that there's 2 periods where we were in cleaning status. And so Flow is going to overlay that information, and then that gives us the ability to run the Flow calculation engine and look specifically at those periods and run more aggregates. So in this case, we want to understand the energy usage per cleaning. We might choose to take that out of our total energy usage for production for the day. We can also reach out to other databases like your production databases, your MES systems, your ERP systems, and understand what batch or what product was running at the time. Again, with the Flow calc engine running, now we pick up more information, our batch production in bottles, as well as our batch energy usage. And what about those periods in between batches? During the cleaning, do we want to associate any data from those periods with the batch that just ran or the batch that's getting ready to run? We might want to understand during that cleaning period what was the maximum temperature that we reached, how long did we hold that temperature, how much steam did we use, or in this case, just how long was the cleaning period. Manual input's also crucially important to Flow. This is how we get information from our front line. We get data from equipment that might not have instrumentation on it or be hooked into our control system. In this case, it's downtime, and we want to code why we were down. So with manual forms, our front line is able to enter information or select categories that have been already provided for them. And now we pick up 3 more data points. What caused our downtime? What was the total duration of that downtime? And how often did this happen? We can also understand the concept of a now period in Flow. So from current hour to now, or since start of day. And here we're able to do 2 different types of calculations. Once we've established the current period, then we can also run throughput percent changes. Or change rate, now compared to same time yesterday, now compared to last hour. It's really important to understand the concept of shifts, shift patterns, and other localized calendars. So what is my production day and start time for a week? Does a week start Sunday at midnight, or does a week start Monday morning at 6 a.m.? And by having the ability to account for different shift patterns and shift seasonality, this gives us the capability of calculating production or throughput or energy usage or any other type of number based on shift. Within Flow, I can also establish a run rate. So we've been looking at all of our history for the last 6 hours. We could run this calculation every minute, so that every minute we have a new run rate. And using that run rate from the Flow calculation engine, I can understand, based on the last 6 hours of production, choosing to omit and not penalize myself for cleaning period, but penalizing myself for downtime, this is my current rate. Now with that rate, I can begin to say, where will I be at the end of the day? So a projected value allows me to look through the rate that I've established and say, by this time, we will have produced this. Future projected values are extremely important and a very good use case for Flow, especially when I use my ERP system and grab what I'm supposed to be making and then I'm able to run a calculation that tells me, hey, compared to where I'm going to be and where I'm supposed to be, here's my plan reliability. Now, this is perfect, especially for operations where making more is not a good thing, and making less is obviously never the goal, right? While we're in the ERP system, we could also grab sales data and understand what the potential profit margins or what the value of our product is. and then take that and apply that to a calc with our downtime and understand what was our actual opportunity lost for our down period. So look, with Flow, I've got so many ways that I can slice this data. It's just in this example, 16 or 20 new KPIs that we've picked up off of a real-time tag and a single tag in the historian by connecting to a couple of different operational and enterprise data sources. So ask yourself, which would you rather have for your decision making, for running your operation? Is this what you would like to have presented to you? Or would you prefer to have information that you can act on, that you can use to inform your people and your process and your applications? Moving forward with Flow is typically very easy, and there's 3 different ways you could do it. We offer proof of concepts. We have a free demo on our website where you can download the software, try it out for yourself, see how the calculation engine works, and decide whether or not it's something that you want to move forward on a proof of value or a pilot. Proof of value, we would recommend a 6-month subscription license. This is going to get you started on a single site. There's no limits to the Flow license on your proof of value, and it'll cost you approximately $7,000. You could do a pilot as well. This is the best way to understand the true value of Flow, to start to get people to have political buy-in to the solution, and for your team to understand all of the amazing things that they could actually do with the product. Our pilots, 1 to 4 sites, and you should expect to pay $14,000 per site for a full year of Flow. What a value. If you'd like to get started, shoot me an email, jeff.nepper@flow-software.com. Thanks.